First of all, I want to say thanks to Noir, Melissa, and her team. Where is Melissa? I know she's always trying to hide. Melissa? Thank you. But thank you very much, and I'm pleased to be here, and I'm honored that you guys are here, truly, because this is very special. I know that you could do a lot of things tonight. There's a lot of places that you could go, and I know that your lives are busy. Trust me, I have the same lifestyle. And so when people make an effort to connect, it means a lot to me. And just the fact that you're here, a lot of you I know, a lot of you I will know, and will become good friends in the future. But truly, I just want to say I'm honored that you're here. So we're gonna do a couple things tonight. Obviously, we're talking about the romance of art and words, and that, you kind of read that on the invitation like, what could that be? I mean, it could go anywhere, and it may go anywhere, because the truth is that typical Stevie style, I wrote this thing about 1 hour before I got here. Couldn't print it, couldn't reread it, couldn't study it, so I'm just going to do what I always do, which is just from my heart and from my soul, my spirit, to it, from me to you guys. So we're going to talk about, my intent is two things. So I want hopefully for you guys to walk out of here and possibly look at art a little bit differently than you have in the past, because I've been with a whole lot of you in other art shows, and I've watched you just sashay by, a piece of art and now never stop to look at it. And I've also seen you do it in my own shows. So part of the intent is to say, wait a minute, you're missing something here, and I hopefully can portray that to you guys tonight. And then secondly, to also share some encouraging, positive messages with you. And if you guys know me very well, if you're on my Facebook, or you know what I'm all about, I truly am a lover of people, and I know what a challenging world that we live in. I got it. I do. I get it. And any time that I can be a part of the solution and not part of the problem, I'm going to do that. And so I kind of got you guys corralled tonight, and I'm going to hopefully impart some good stuff to you in person. As you see these things being written on this canvas right now, you know what I'm all about, because you've read my Facebook post, and I literally have done thousands of these. And the next book coming up, which is called Messages from the Love Chronicles, is a collection of, believe it or not, as I put all these together, thousands of these messages that were basically from me to you guys, and wherever this shoe fits, it can wear it. So that's the two things we're going to try to get done here tonight. I'll be quick about this. I know that everyone has other places to go and wants to get on with this, but there's one question that every artist, and there's a lot of artists out here tonight that I see, but there's one question that we always get asked, and that question is, so, what were you thinking? What were you feeling when you painted this? If you do an art show, you get asked that 20 or 30 or 40 times in a night. So imagine, as an artist, imagine if I turned that back at you and said, I don't know, tell me everything that you were thinking last week, for a week, or two, or three. And I can tell you that we probably were sharing the same thoughts and emotions and feelings. We were thinking about our love affairs. We were thinking about our money issues, the challenges of life, conflict. We were thinking about our relationships. We were all thinking about the same things, honestly. Same things that you were thinking this morning in the shower, I was. Same things that you were thinking last night when you laid your head down on your pillow, I was probably thinking the same things too, because we share a whole lot in common, more than you can possibly know. In fact, I would beg to say that right now we're probably more disconnected than ever in this world. And I certainly don't want to offend anyone by blaming this on iPhones and iPads and that kind of stuff, but so be it. It is. And so, we as we become more disconnected with each other, we lose a lot. We lose the romance of life. We lose the love affair of life. We lose the connection between one another. Because, see, you cannot, it is impossible, and I tried this, by the way, to portray thoughts, feelings, and emotions in a text message. If you can do it, send me one. I've never seen it. And so that's how we communicate now. It's, hey, let me send you a text message, let me send you an email, and let me get my iPad out. I see it at dinner, with two lovers, at a dinner out, and both of them on their iPads or iPhones. And it saddens me, quite honestly, because I think that we're losing a part of society that we'll never gain back. In fact, I would even venture to say that where we go as society hinges on how we decide we're going to communicate from this point forward. Because if you think about how we communicate now with each other, it's a sad affair. It really is. I certainly wasn't alive, 50 years ago when my parents had to create romance in their lives. They had to communicate. They did it completely different than we did. And I'm not saying one's good, one's bad. All I can say is that based on what I'm seeing, the disconnect between people, the lost loveness of people in relationships, friendships, etc., I can only come to the conclusion that where we're going is not good. So I have an opportunity here tonight to say these things as an artist, and like I said, that's part of my job. I think as being an artist is that we get to express our thoughts and feelings. And me being an author and an artist, it's like double jeopardy. It's a little bit more than most, because when you read I'll be right back. Why did we do that? When you read the words in my book, okay, what happens is my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, everything that I am experiencing in my life becomes words that turns into sentences, that goes to paragraphs, to chapters, and then maybe even a full book, right? So you know exactly what I'm thinking, you know exactly what I'm feeling, you know what message I'm trying to get you to understand, because it's all right here. I would also argue, which is part of this presentation tonight, or talk, is that the same things that you see in this book, the same feelings, the same emotions, the same thoughts, are also in the art. Remember what I said earlier. Everyone wants to know, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? And so I decided to say, okay, I know how to do that. I'll just put it right here for you to see. Because I can't lie. I'm not a good liar. And when people ask me, they say, okay, well, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? I just, honestly, guys, I don't have time to tell you that. Because I was thinking and feeling a whole lot. And that might take days or hours or days or maybe weeks or months to tell you everything I was thinking. So when you think about an artist with a brush in his hand and you walk by his piece of art, you can imagine, as I'm putting this line right here, right in the middle, and I'm choosing this color right here, because see, here's what happens, is that those emotions, those thoughts, those feelings that are transposed into words are now transposed into color, texture, layers, all kinds of stuff here. And they all reflect the same thing that you read in the book. Same thoughts, same feelings, same emotions. So when I sit down to paint, like every other artist, whatever I'm thinking, whatever I'm feeling is going to come out. It's impossible to hide it. I can't sit here, if I'm depressed, if I had an argument with someone I loved, or I'm just, something's not going right in my life, I'm caught up in stuff, there's no way I can sit here and paint beautiful colors. It's impossible. I can tell you, because I've painted a whole lot of them. And they'll typically be, I don't know, darker colors. You'll see lots of layers behind it, me hiding. You'll see a lot of it that's just screwed up, and you know it. You look at that piece of art and you go, he wasn't in a good place. and that's okay, because You know, we're all demonstrating and we're all expressing how we think and how we feel at all times. How you dress, house that you live in, car that you drive, where you eat dinner. We're all expressing and demonstrating what we think and feel about ourselves and about other people at all times. And as an artist, I can promise you that those same thoughts and feelings are in each piece. So when I see this piece and it looks, there's so much color there. You know, there's so many things going on. And I'm not going to reveal the thoughts and the feelings and emotions I was going through on any of these pieces. Maybe later, you know, personally. But that's a lot of exposure. You know, most artists, I got to be honest with you, don't even like doing art shows. You know why? They're afraid of being exposed. I mean, I can remember my first art show, and I remember a lot of other people's first art shows where the fear was, what if they see me? What if they know me now? Because that's how we feel. That if you're looking at this, then you're going to see what I was thinking. You're going to see what I was feeling. Now, I will let you in a little secret. This one, I just completed in early January. And as you guys come over and take a look at these, what you're going to see in that piece is an explosion of joy. Honest to goodness. Because, like a lot of you probably last year, I had challenges. I had a lot of them, quite honestly. And I feel like I just got kicked in the teeth over and over and over again. It was brutal. I'm just being honest with you. It was just a dadgum beat. And I kept thinking, am I even going to make it through this? Can I make it through it? Because there was a couple times I didn't think I would. Well, like anything, I did make it through. Because we all do. We all rise above. If we're seeking healing, we'll find healing. If we're seeking joy, you'll find joy. If you're seeking the good things of life, they will find you and you will find them. But you have to make the attempt. And see, I just simply got tired of being tired. I got tired of being beat up. I got tired of being depressed. I got tired of being challenged. I got tired of everything and said, screw it. I'm just not going to do it anymore. I'm going to make the effort. I'm going to make the effort, and I'm going to make the statement that no more. I'm going to rise above. I'm going to enjoy this life as it was given to me by my Creator. And I'm going to make a statement. That statement was this. I'm going to share it with you guys because I'm going to impart it into you tonight. I'm going to say that I made this statement. I said, I'm going to have the greatest year of my life. Think about that for a second. Man, that's a big statement. Especially just coming off the year I just had. I mean, to say I'm going to have the greatest year of my life. I said it over and over and over again. And every time I said it, I just kind of cringed. It's like my brain was saying, that's impossible. You're not going to have the greatest year of your life, and you know that. So you're just going to be depressed come December 31st of 2013, right? Because you're going to look back and go, well, you didn't have the greatest year of your life. See, that stuff doesn't work. All that positive thinking, all those wonderful messages, it just doesn't work. That's one of the fears that we have. That's why we don't make those kind of statements. That's why we don't say it to each other. The second reason, though, is that we also just don't want to take the responsibility of what it would be like having the greatest year of your life. Because to have the greatest year of your life is a lot of responsibility. Think about it. You've got to take care of your health because you're going to have the greatest year of your life. You've got to be healthy, right? If you're going to have the greatest year of your life, you've got to have whole, wonderful, encouraging relationships, right? You can't have conflict. If you're going to have the greatest year of your life, you financially got to succeed. You have to have success in your life to some degree. You can't be living under a bridge. So there's a whole lot of responsibility that goes along with saying, I'm going to have the greatest year of my life. But I believe that we all can have the greatest year of our life. And I want to say that now because I might not see any of you people forever again. Who knows? You just don't know. but I do trust that you will make the attempts to have the greatest year of your life. And regardless of whether you do or don't, it won't be an accident. Okay? So when it comes December 31st, trust me, when you look back and say, did I have the greatest year of my life? It won't be an accident whether you did or didn't. You're going to have a great year if you decide you're going to have a great year and you're going to demonstrate that you're going to have the greatest year. So, I think I got a little off track, which is typically me. I ramble, I go all over the place. I mean everything I say, though, so if it doesn't make sense, just hang with me. I want to go back to this piece because remember what I said was that I did this right before or during the point that I said I'm going to have the greatest year of my life. And if you'll take a look at that, you're going to see it's drastically different than everything else I've done. I mean, it's just an explosion of love. And I named it a love affair with God because I honestly believe that the only way that I could make that statement that I'm going to have the greatest year of my life was to also include God in my life. And as soon as I did that, which I've done many times, by the way, it wasn't just a one-time occurrence, but this piece came out, and it was absolutely, in my opinion, and I'm no art critic, and I'm probably my worst critic, it was something completely different than I've ever done. In fact, I want to grab somebody here from the audience. I want to pick on someone. Come to me. Because you know what? Here's the bad thing. So when you go to an art show, do you ever get to touch the art? Very rarely do you ever get to touch the art. And not because no one told you that you couldn't. We're just kind of programmed, don't touch the art. Right? Well, the reality of it is that you can touch the art. Please, I beg you to touch my art. Feel it, listen to it, hear it, because there's a story in each one of these pieces. Remember, I told you the story is in the books, right? That's also in the art. But you can't fully understand it unless you touch it, unless you feel it. Now, if someone here buys some art tonight, rest assured in about 500 years, that it's probably going to fall apart because people touched it. But I don't think anyone's going to care 500 years from now. So, Allison, good friend of mine, by the way, and I just love this girl right here. If you'll just come over here just for a second. And think about it. Typically, you would walk up to this and go, I touch it. You kind of stand back and you're afraid, we're trained not to touch it. But it's begging you to touch it. Is it not? Isn't it just telling you this beautiful story right now? I want you to touch it. Put your hand on it and touch it. Just rub it. Put your hand on it. Just do it. Now see, we said that this was called the romance of art and words. This is romance right here. But you feel the texture, you feel the story, you feel the differences in sheen and gloss. And that's where you truly understand what the story is, because there is a story here, and it's wanting you to know the story. And hopefully, as you touch it and feel it, you get that. So where I'm going with this, thank you, Allison, is that please touch it and feel my art.
It was good.
Great. Got a new banner. So if you were touching that one compared to this one, you're going to feel a drastic difference in texture and even the color, believe it or not. And we have, I'm no psychiatrist. I don't understand fully different colors, and how they affect mood and what they do and what it means. I have no clue. And I really don't care, honestly. But I know this. You can feel color. And the reason I can say that is because I'm around it every day. I'm touching it, I'm looking at it, and you can feel it. You're going to feel it too. When you come by, just put your hand. You'll feel black. You'll feel the gold. You'll feel the red. And hopefully you'll also hear the story. Because that's really what, at the end of the night, that's what I'm trying to get across to you, is that the same story that's being told on this canvas right here was told here. What was I thinking when I painted this? You're reading it. reading what I was thinking. You're reading what I was feeling. You're reading my emotions. You got that? So, next art events that you go to, and a lot of you go to a lot of them, stop and listen to the art. It's not a matter of whether you like it or not. See, that's what we do. We walk up and go, I don't like that. No, that's not my style. I mean, no, that's terrible, blah, blah, blah. It's not a matter of whether you like it or not. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to hear the story. Because that artist may have the same story that you do. Is probably thinking the same thoughts that you're thinking. You're sharing a moment. Okay? And the greatest thing, the greatest gift that you can give to a musician, a painter, an author, a dancer, is to watch the dance, look at the art, listen to the music, and understand it. That's the greatest gift. If at the end of the night, trust me, as an artist, many times we go home with empty pockets. You don't sell anything. But you know what? If the people got it, if they heard you, they listened to your messages via your art, or via your dance, or via your guitar, if the romance of what we do comes through and gets to you, then it was worth it. It's worth it to all of us. And as we move forward from this night, knowing that we've got to become better communicators to each other. We truly, truly do. We got to become better communicators to God. We got to become better communicators to our loved ones, our husbands, our wives, our children, our friends, our neighbors. The balance of humanity hinges on this. And I'm not kidding you. If you want to sit back and think about where we're going to be 10 years from now, based on how we communicate and how to do it, you'll come to a conclusion real quick. We're in trouble. So I do challenge you guys tonight to romance with each other, to talk to each other, to share your stories, to be a part of this night, not just a single person out there trying to make it through the night. And yeah, that's it. That's truly it. And I'm going to go back and make the same statement that I made earlier because I think it's the perfect place to end this at. And hopefully I got this through to you guys, but I do wish you and do hope that you have the greatest year of your life to each and every one of you. I want to impart that on you now. And if there's anything to what we all kind of believe that there is, this power, this higher power, this magical thing that if we speak it, it happens. If we paste it on a board and put it on the wall, it comes to life. And all of these different things. If there's anything to that, which I believe there is, then me saying to you guys, I hope that you have the greatest years of your life. It's going to do it. It's going to do something. It has to. So love each other, enjoy each other, and again, thank you for coming here tonight. And I've got books over here for sale, obviously, and love to talk to everyone that I possibly can. And with that, we can turn up the music. And don't let anyone go by the art without hearing the story. Oh, hey, one other thing. I'm sorry. Of course, I always forget. We have kind of a gift. I want to say from us to you, from me to you, is that we have the Empowerment of Destiny team here, and the Empowerment of Destiny team is a great bunch of people. You'll see them because they have little name tags on, but they are amazing kind of life coach people that can understand your situations, your problems, and deliver good messages of encouragement to you. So if you got something you need to talk about, please seek these people out. They're amazing, and they're a gift to you. So with that, good night. All right.